The dominant narrative is run by what is called the theology of the empire. Now you got to understand, saints. Please, I want you to understand this. I know my time is almost over, but please hear me. The dominant narrative is they have what is called the theology of the empire. Now you have Rome, you go all the way back to Greece, you go back to Medieval Persia, you go back to Babylon, Assyria. Every empire has a narrative, and the truth of the matter is you're going to live in somebody's imagination. The dominant narrative already has scripted what they want those individuals to do in their empire. They already know what they want you to do, and if you're not wise enough and understand the dominant narrative and what the lies behind it consist of, you'll never understand why we are living in this system. So let me expose the three lies of the dominant narrative that we need to understand. Number one, the theology of the lies of the dominant narrative, the theology of the empire, number one is this. Get this. This is why we have what we have. Please hear me. Please hear me. This is why we have what we have. This is the lie of the theology of the dominant narrative. Number one, some people matter more than others. That's number one. Okay, you know better than that, but that's the lie that drives the theology of the dominant narrative. There are some people that have more value than others. That's number one. We know that's a lie. Number two, the world is defined by scarcity of resources. You got that? Now you need to be writing this down. In other words, number one, some people they see have value more than others. Number two, the dominant narrative sees scarcity of resources, therefore everybody can't get to it because there's scarcity. If we let you have some, it won't be anything for us. If you let you have some, then we're going to run out. If we let you become the head, then you're going to treat us wrong like we treated you. Watch this, saints. That's number two. Number three, we are a collection of individuals, and I am not my brother's keeper. That's number three. That's a lie, okay? Those are the three lies of the dominant narrative. Got to hear me today. That's why it's impossible to change this, because the dominant narrative allows the rich to keep getting richer. Now, what I didn't know, and I'm not going to explore and go into it too deep, but don't you know they have what is called police brutality bonds? Okay. Police brutality bonds are bonds that insurance companies and financial institutions pay to families. They got to pay out money. Whose money you think they're going to use? Taxpayers. The interest is taken from taxpayers' money to pay out when somebody is brutalized. Okay, you do your research. I'm telling you, that's why it can't stop. It's because the dominant narrative sees some people with no value. And in their eyes, people of color have no value. That's why they're sacrificed. That's why they're killed. That's why they get off. That's why police officers can walk with immunity. That's why the system has to be changed with legislation and policies that says if you do this, there's a consequence, because there's value in that soul. There's value in that human being. You took his life not even thinking about it. It was a travesty for that man to be looking into a camera while he was taking that man's life. Why? Because the dominant narrative, they're not doing it, but they're endorsing it by their silence. And that's why, not just for black folk, any white person, any black person, any brown person that doesn't speak up and say something, they are complicit with the dominant narrative. They are complicit of believing that value changes in people. That's why I say we got to get educated. And let me hurry up and get this thing finished. There's so much more, but watch this, watch this. The theology of resistance is about responding to these three lies. Okay, you got that, okay? The theology of resistance is us pushing back because we know, according to the Bible, these are lies. These are lies. Every man made in the image of God has value. There's not a scarcity. The cattle on 1,000 hills belong to God. And my God said, if you were hungry, I wouldn't even ask you. He said, the silver and the gold is mine. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Everything else will be added. Bless, press down, run it over. If you need something, there is enough. Don't tell me there's a scarcity. But what America did in prophecy, Revelation 13, she looked like a lamb, but she spoke like a dragon, and she's been speaking like that ever since they came over here and took the land from American Indians and then took black bodies from the bowels of Africa and made them build the country, and now we can't get a break, come out of slavery, and then you've got Jim Crow, and you got lynching and police brutality. Won't you just give us a break? We helped build this place. Can't we get some love? Why? If we change the dominant narrative, somebody gonna lose some money. And that's what it's about, power and money. And the love of money is the root. The love of money is the root. The love of it. And how I'm going to turn my back and turn my face and watch somebody die unless I'm driven by money. And the Bible says wherever your treasure is, that's where your heart. Their heart is not for fixing laws to help people. Their heart is with their money. All right, preacher, you've been ranting long enough. Give me those 3 things that I got to do. Number one, you've got to believe the lie. You got to go against the lie by understanding we are made in the image of God, according to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. See, when God made the human race, he didn't make a white race, a black race. He made the human race. He made a human race. In the image of God, he made male and female. He didn't make male and male. He didn't make female and female. He made male and female, and they represented the image of God, the human race. And as a human race, we believe that all men are created equal, and the church should be preaching that. The church should be preaching that. Black men, white men, brown men are equal, and we're not based on who we are, based on color of our skin or based on how much money we have in the bank. Our value is determined because you are made in the image of God. That homeless man down there on Park Avenue has value because he's in the image of God. That prostitute has value because she's the image of God. That drunkard who keeps on drinking, he has the image of God. And what they want to do is make George Floyd the victim by saying, well, he had drugs in his system. Well, he had a criminal past. I don't care what he did. He was valued in the eyes of God. And if God is going to use our past to get us, then all of us are jacked. If God is going to use our past and going to value somebody, I had this black girl, I ain't going to say her name. She came on Facebook deriding the man, talking about he had this. Let me go all the way back to 1998 and start reading his criminal past. He did this and did this. And she said, out of all the black people, we're the only ones that want to support the scum of the earth. We're the only ones that want to help people at the lower bottom of our tier. We're the only ones that want to reach down and glorify criminals. No, we're not glorifying criminals. We're glorifying the image of God, that God made George Floyd, and he didn't have to die like that. That's our problem. We're not making him a hero. We're not saying that he's some martyr. We're saying, America, the world, watch a derided, crazy, foolish, white cop murder a black man in the image of God. That's what got us pissed off. We're in the image of God. And we ain't going to apologize about that. I didn't make myself. It was God that made me. He made me black. I ain't got to apologize about being black. I ain't got to apologize about being white. I ain't got to apologize about being anything. And don't tell me you don't see color. Oh, I don't see color. You lie, and the truth ain't in you. You don't see color. Wait a minute. Okay, come on. Okay, I'm going to give you a test. You don't see color? Nah. What do you do when you come to a traffic light? You don't see color? If it's red, you stop. If it's green, you go. If you're yellow, you slow down. And you just told me you don't see color, then there's going to be a whole lot of accidents if you don't see color. And that's why America is having accidents, because you don't see me as black and beautiful, made in the image of God. You better open your eyes and see color. It ain't a problem with color. It's your reaction to a color you don't like. I know this ain't popular, and I ain't preaching hate. I'm preaching truth. And number one, I told you the narrative is some people mean more than others. And the truth is we all in the image of God. I told you the world is defined as scarcity of resources. And I told you Psalm 66 verse 9 says we live in God's abundance. There's more than enough. I mean, can you imagine we talking about, well, there ain't enough air, so I'm going to breathe all your air. It's enough for everybody. You better take your breath, and every time you breathe in and you breathe out, you better bless God. That was a gift from God. You know what? I'm so glad that we can breathe freely. I'm so glad. But he could not breathe. There was enough air for George Floyd, but somebody decided to be the jury, the judge, the law. If they're going to be fair, at least get them to the court. Don't you kill them before they have a day in court where they can be said innocent until proven guilty. Don't kill them because you decide they're guilty. That there was no legislation. There was no defense. There was no prosecutor. There was nothing but you with a decision to take a life. And my last point right here, and then I'm about to quit. Number 3. We are a collection. No. We are all connected. See, the problem is whenever you think you can do church on your own, you got an issue. And there's some folks that I'm going to do me. What that mean? I'm going to do me. I don't need anybody. You a liar. You do need somebody. We are collective. We were made to need. In other words, I may not need you, but I want you. Why? Because fellowship is important. And fellowship is important because it brings us together. When the Bible said they overcame.